You imagine someone injuncting such a project, and you sit on your desk and you issue an injunction against this project from proceeding. That would be equivalent to treason. But so what we do here is to we are training judges to ensure that we have that development mind. Can judiciary be an aid to development rather than stifling development? And this is the objective of us coming here. Now, because of that, we do not want disputes arising from this sector to delay. And as I told you, we are setting up a division specifically for environment and infrastructure, of course, which this is the basic. And of course, as I told you, we shall continue to partner, and I think after here we should have an exit meeting, trainings for our judicial officers as we get the first oil. It is important that we achieve that, and then we see development really coming. Because you see, when the country develops, we all develop. And as the governor mentioned yesterday, I was amazed at how young UPDF officers are running that waste treatment plant. You saw that young man who was Kato, very young, and he because learning never stops. Learning is a continuous process. If you stop learning, you die. So maybe you asked for a ruling on first oil. I can tell you before the end of this year we shall have first oil.
There's no appeal on it.
And there is no appeal. We shall issue an injunction against violating that.
For taking time to come for this visit. And why do I want to thank you so much? As we get to the midstream, I know there are going to be lots of issues to be settled, because more and more players are going to come on the ground. There are going to be disputes. And one thing that we don't want, something to delay the production and export of this oil because of some disputes. Because we are looking at this oil as supporting the tenfold growth. We are looking at this oil as strengthening the economy. We don't want this oil, we don't want Uganda to become an oil economy. If you look at the tenfold growth, there are 4 key pillars: agro-industrialization, tourism, mineral development, science and technology. We want this oil to help us grow those pillars so that long after the oil is gone, those pillars are able to sustain growth in the economy. So anything that's going to delay, to derail because of disputes here and there, we would not like to entertain it. But I think you have seen what it means and the potential challenges that are going to come. And my Lord the Chief Justice, it's my prayer that you prepare the judiciary for all these cases that are going to come, so that we really quicken the benefits that are coming from this oil here. Now, as I conclude, I want to thank UNOC. I want to thank...
Thank you, Asante Sana. It has been a fantastic 2 days. Before this journey started, I said I was wondering how we were going to manage judges. We always know you to be very serious people. But I saw people playing football. I saw people playing football. I saw people having a good time. But more importantly, I saw us learning. And that was our true intention. But more importantly, I think for UNOC was we were branded the right way. As a Ugandan national oil company, we are very keen on so many things, but most importantly, local content. And I think you've seen the number of Ugandans who are in the oil fields, but more importantly as well, the exchange of knowledge and skills. And we're hoping that as we progress in this oil and gas journey, we can do more. What you have seen is just 40% of Uganda's potential. Uganda has more to come. And if we have the right people in place, people that you've seen, but more importantly, the right support as well from yourselves, we can really grow this industry. So we're very happy. I am personally, on behalf of the CEO and entire UNOC, very happy that you have been part of us, and we look forward to enjoying fast oil. I remember Justice Musa looking at the fast oil and wondering what it was, and I said, this is the real thing. Then he was wondering if we could use it immediately. He wanted a jerry can. Clearly,
because it has faith issues, people can misunderstand it. But now, the reason why we come here as judges is to understand the sector. if a dispute arises, how do you adjudicate it when you don't even know? When you talk of fast oil, you don't even know where the oil is. You don't even know what it means as fast oil. And it is always good when you are adjudicating. There is nothing as good as adjudicating in an area where you know best. So now we've come here, we've seen everything. And as I told you, as judiciary, we must have a development mind. You can't be a judiciary that thinks that you are going to prevent development. I think Musa mentioned something to do with injunctions. You imagine someone injuncting such a project, and you sit on your desk and you issue an injunction against this project from proceeding. That would be equivalent to treason. But so what we do here is we are training judges to ensure that we have that development mind. Can judiciary be an aid to development rather than stifling development? And this is the objective of us coming here. Now, because of that, we do not want disputes arising from this sector to delay. And as I told you, we are setting up a division specifically for environment and infrastructure, of course, which this is the basic. And of course, as I told you, we shall continue to partner, and I think after here we should have an exit meeting.
Stage as what we saw yesterday in Kingfisher. On the side of Kingfisher, we have literally finished all the construction and done all the pre-commissioning, and the CPF had reached at a commissioning stage. And here, there is quite a lot of construction that is still happening, as you can see clearly. In terms of progress, the estimation as of end of July was 68.6% completion here, meaning we still have a bit of some time to go before we can finish construction here. But for purposes of fast oil, there are things that we have agreed upon between the regulator and the licensees together with their contractors. Now, here we have, because of the volumes of oil that we are dealing with, we do have 2 processing lines. For the one that where we were in Kingfisher, the oil enters from one line, gets out up to the very end in one processing line. Here there are 2 processing lines that we have. Now, what we have agreed for purposes of ensuring that we catch up with the timelines of fast oil, that they focus on one line, because when the crude goes into one line, it can still get out as a final product on the other end. And we have mapped out all the different facilities that are critical to enable us to have at least the one line ready. So if you starts from here up to the very end to the tanks, and there is another line between the second and third that continues to the other end. So that line has both the oil processing part, the water treatment part, and the gas treatment as well. So in other words, if you have just a fraction of it has a mustard color, that is one of the electrical instrumentation and telecommunication buildings. And there are 3 of them. There is one here in the south, there is one in the north, and there is one that is right here, one in the west. There are things to do with firefighting systems. Those have to be fully ready. So things to do with water for use within the facility have to be ready. So now the team is ensuring that those that are a must for fast oil are prepared such that we can have fast oil before the end of this year, and then the others can be completed with time. So when it comes to the wells, we have engaged with the licensees and agreed that we need 170 wells to be ready now for fast oil. Now of those 170, we have so far drilled 228. So in other words, we have even surpassed the number. Now what we are doing today is finalizing, putting in the buseke, the straws inside the wells, which is a much quicker process. it takes typically 2.5 to 3 days to finish our well. It's much quicker. So we are not so much worried on that front. Now for the CPF, I indicated that by the end of July we were at 68.6%, and the estimation for first oil is we need to be at least at 80%. Now, for the last few months we have been averaging around between 6.8 and around 7.2% per month. So we expect that if we are at 68%, it won't take us more than 2 months before we reach the desired level for us to say we are ready, at least on the construction side. Then we can go into the pre-commissioning, commissioning, and then we are good to go.
The capital cost is over $6 billion, and in particular this CPF, the contract was signed between McDermott, a UK company, and Sinopec, a Chinese company, at a cost of about $1.8 billion. Of course, there have been some changes in the scope, and currently we are at around $2 billion. And most of it has been utilized, and it's about 80% utilized in terms of contract cost. We have both these companies also contracted or subcontracted Ugandan companies that are doing the civil works, the excavations. In particular, we have cementers, we have Buroni, Gates, Excel Terrain, Brand, and Plumbase, and some others doing the food, the catering, and others. And all of them are working on this project. Yeah, that's about the numbers specifically for the project. Yeah. Okay, at start, Kingfisher, their proposal right now is 27,000 barrels per day to start as they ramp up to the plateau of 40,000 barrels per day. For here, we are yet to confirm how much they will start up before they reach the 190,000 barrels per day.
So you don't know how much they're going to first oil because you are first country.
So far, we know how many wells we need for first oil, and those ones are ready. How many? 170 out of the over 400 wells, about 170 are for first oil. And those will be turned off, but not at a go. We turned off a few of them before we start to run.
You don't know the number of barrels?
For now, I'm not so sure. But we'll have to check and confirm.
Okay. Taking the time off to come and see this with your eyes. For us, it was very important after our last training, the one in October, where, Mr. Sekato and Peter Mlisa shared some of the highlights of the oil and gas sector, that we come down on ground and see what it is. As we are aware, we had also ourselves visited in May and seen the great work that was going on here, and seen the investment and seen the potential and seen what this meant for our economy. And therefore we were more than delighted when we received confirmation that your lordships could come, and when the Chief Justice communicated that, we quickly looked out for our partners, PAO, and and we are glad that we're here today. We hope that this has been very enlightening, has been enriching, and that it will really enable you make those decisions from an informed perspective, given what we've seen on ground. I thank you, BOU, for the sponsorship. They really came through to support us, and this would not have been possible without their support and their generosity. We thank you so much, Governor of Uganda.
Thank you very much. As you're here, you can be sure we look at
We had an opportunity to see a live drilling operation. Now, when drilling is done, it goes to another site to continue drilling activities. Now, after it has left the site, preparing that particular well cut, including the wells of course, for production. Now, in particular for the first well, we need to have a meter, which we call a multi-phase flow meter, to tell us how much exactly is coming from that well in terms of oil. That we are able to use the same numbers to inject in similar volume in the water injector wells. But also most important is able to do exactly that. Those are very, very sophisticated equipment. On the other side, which we may not be, have what we call pig launchers and pig receivers, which are within this area. Usually those help us in the cleaning. Those are the major equipment that you will find. You will notice that here, if I asked, you may not be able to see where the wells are, but they are there. If you look keenly in this,
crossing.
that's the power generation component, and for purposes of first oil, we don't need all the 4 to be ready, only 2 will be ready by the time we have first oil, and then the others can be completed towards the end. Now on our left we have train 1, and on this other side we have train 2. So train 2 will be made ready before train 1, so that at least all the crude can go through train 1 as they finalize the other side. But there are some critical equipment that have to be completed, whether you're using one train or one processing line or not. Now, things like the electrical instrumentation and telecommunication buildings, those have to be completed. We have one, this one that is colored, I don't know whether that is a bit colorblind. Which color you would call that? The one that stands out.
And the cost so far that has been done here. She's the person of numbers.
Taken down to the end consumer at a reasonable cost. But Andrew has the numbers in terms of the
Kenda kuza leo. Oichungira mroshi.
That is all.
Bakumwacho?
We have here, as I said, we say
Narrow should be noting.
this
I get a narrow
one
issue.
five. What is the other?
Musajja kukwata noti kukono mugala.
I will not interfere. For us as PAU, we are workers, what you call the primary workers. Our board chair already spoke, I mean board members, anything. We just thank the judiciary for coming to see. We thank Bank of Uganda, especially the governor, to come and governor has been asking us resistance to answer that question because first oil, Tilenga has to be ready, Kingfisher and Eco. Or if we, I think here when we are facing the facility.
When you're facing the side.
When we are
That's not going to be hitting you.
okay, so let the camera person take.
Let's do it at the same time, Reed. First oil. Can we go 1, 2, 3?